Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. I promised you a second channeling on this Saturday in Austin. It would follow suit with the first one in its theme. And so we'll do that. It's a message we've given before and an important one. Unless you have been following the multiple channels that we have given over the years, these things are new. And so there are those who have been following and said, well, Kryon, you've given this before, and we're going to give it again. Because there are so many that are just coming across this energy, this message. And some of you are going to relate. The subject is the frustrations of the Lightworker in the new energy. And again, just for a review, the whole pretense is that past 2012, there is a new paradigm. And the first thing that changes that we talked about is you. And so this is about you. However, what we want to discuss at this moment are those old souls that have been in the work for a long time. It's not uncommon that there would be old souls that have been working the puzzle of light and dark for years. Years before 2012, there have been healers. Many of them in the room. There are channels, many of them, in the room and listening, that have been doing their best on the planet to change that which is the consciousness to help those around them. And suddenly, there's a change. And the change is in energy. And let's discuss this. Which energy is it? What kind of energy is it? And we'll say it's raw energy. That's the kind that the old soul depends on. If you are in the category of one who is helping the planet in any way, in the meditation, in the healing, in authoring, those who write, and you've been doing it for many years, we're talking about the raw energy of connection. Now, we've given many messages on connection. So let's talk about what that is. It's elusive. It's intuitive. It's what is taught as innate. It's that connection that you have with the Creator. Let's walk through a scenario. The writer, which is writing books about that beautiful relationship and the compassion with Spirit. Or perhaps they're writing a manual on self-healing. Or even on what it's like to move into an ascension status. All of this requires a connection to Spirit. And in the past energy, those who've been doing this for a long time count on it. And you sit down and it appears. One of the nice things about being in that energy, and there are those here who have done this, is that the clock stops. That's a metaphor, but it truly feels that way. You seem to have ideas and you write and you're blessed and you come forward with wonderful words and things that would help other people, and suddenly it's tomorrow. And the clock doesn't seem to cooperate. It's going too fast. Healers on this planet have similar kinds of situations, and there are so many of you. And some of you are doing it long distance and meditations, and some of you actually seeing patients. Some of you working with the numbers system or the astrology system. But those who see the patients and those who come and go will feel the connection when the patient walks in the room. The connection is the innate, which says, here is a blessed soul who comes to you to shift their energy. And you do. And the energy shift that you give them allows them to see themselves in a way they never did, and the healing starts. And this is what you do. There are so many here and listening who have been doing these kinds of things for so many years. There are some who have been doing it longer than my Kryon. My Kryon. This energy, this Kryon, has even been on the planet channeling. These are the ones I'm talking to. 2012 brought something different. And if you are one of these, a light worker who has been in this energy before 2012, working the puzzle of light and dark, of healing, of writing, of self-help, any of these, the meditation warriors, the prayer warriors, the one who change energy with their thoughts, there's so many of you because you're old souls. 2012 came about and you didn't think anything of it. Because the promise was that 2012 would begin a refreshing energy. I use these words so often. Lightworker, get ready, for the wind is at your back. Lightworker, get ready, because now there are those who will hold your hand and take you forward. You'll be aware of those guides. All manner of things are coming. And then slowly, they didn't. And there are so many of you who are looking around and saying, I don't know how to say this, but I've stopped doing my work. And you would then confide to the one that you would love the most, who would understand, and you'd say, the connection is gone. Suddenly I have writer's block. I can't go further because there's no connection there anymore. It's a kind of like a bad joke that I would have all of these gifts and all of these tools, and then we would come to that, the marker, the 2012, the change of consciousness, and it all starts to disappear. So many healers having patients come in and not feeling a thing, going through the motions, actually helping them, but when they leave and the door is shut, there's consternation, there's frustration. Where's the connection? Where is the beautiful connection that I used to count on, that was here year after year after year? The meditation warriors, the ones who meditate for humanity and for transparency and just general help for the planet. You would go into meditation or have groups that would meditate. And suddenly, you're not feeling it anymore. Those things that would make your heart sing and you would swell up with the love of God and the compassion in the room, they seem tempered now. They're not there like they used to be. That's who I'm talking to. Now, I've told you about this before, and it's critical that you truly understand the immensity, the enormity of what's going on. I told you a while back that more light is being poured into this planet, specifically by the nodes of the planet, and we mentioned it before, that it's starting to shift and change not just the energy of consciousness, but the connection. And we've said also before that the very connection that you have is starting to be enhanced. We sat before you last week and we told you about the innate and the expansion that's going on. we mentioned to you that it's a brand new energy of connection and that it's intuitive. And if you want to connect, all you have to do is give intent. That's what we told you. Meanwhile, the light workers, the healers, the ones who have been working so many puzzles for so many years before 2012 are saying, well, not for me. What's going on? I want you to think for a moment about vibration, about frequency. Now, vibration and frequency are three-dimensional words that are often used to describe that which is your state of being in enlightenment. And some will say, well, I feel like I'm vibrating at a higher level today. And that would be the metaphor. That's the words that you would use. None of that is accurate. It doesn't matter. That's how you feel. And it's understood by other light workers. And if someone would say, well, how does it feel? You'd say, well, I think it's a higher vibration. I think it's a frequency that I've never been on before. Meanwhile, those who have been doing this for 20 years, 10 years, even 5 years, or before the 2012 shift, even 7 years ago, are saying, not for me. And so if that is you, this is for you, frustrated light worker. Listen to me. In your own terminology, if you've been listening to a radio station that's a certain frequency on your dial, as they used to say, that's been the connection. And when you walked into those rooms, healer, with a patient, or writer, when you sat down, you tuned to that station. And it was always there. And the beauty of that is the transmission and the reception was on the same frequency. That's how it works. But as you faced this new energy, you didn't get to be where the new ones are, who are just coming around and learning about intent and connection. You see, they know where the new station is, and you don't. Imagine that station. Beautiful it is. Call it what it is, the compassion of the Creator, the love of God. Call it whatever you want to. A multidimensional station that talks to you and suddenly is not there. What has taken place is beautiful for you and for now. And this is the information. This is the solution. It changed frequency. You didn't. And so you tune to the old station, really not understanding that something has gone on with this planet, with light itself, which is actually moving existence, reality, paradigm of connection. The station changed frequencies. And so the next thing you should know is there's nothing missing. And the next thing you should know is if you retune to the new station, every gift that you have is going to increase. Writer, it's going to start pouring out. Healer, there's going to be too much come in, more than you've ever seen before. This is the promise, but you have got to reconnect. All right, Kryon, how is that done? It's not difficult. You have been doing this work for years. You know what to do. You just haven't done it. Number one, cognize the fact that the station is gone. Number one. Now that's critical. Cognize the fact that the station got higher and you got to go to another frequency. And here's why it's critical. Because human nature comes in. When you lost that connection, what's the first thing you did? Think about it. What did I do wrong? That's what you did. You went right to the dark side of fear, wondering why God did this to you. I'm talking to you. Now that is human nature as it exists today, not as it will exist someday in the future, but that's what you were taught. It left, you must have done something wrong. That comes from teaching. That comes from your parents. It comes from others who have taught you the mechanics of all these things or the way they work the best they could. But that's not what happened. What happened was that the station got new equipment. And the light started to be turning on. And the reception that you want has gone to another place in you, which is a higher vibrating place, and you've got to match the frequencies. Listen, if this is you, follow these instructions. Dear Spirit, I now realize I've done nothing wrong. There's nothing missing in my life. I am sitting here and poised and ready to go to the next step, to tune metaphorically to that new station, to go to a higher vibration and continue my work. Dear Spirit, I give intent with my intuition to tune to the new station. Oh, I'm delivering chills to my partner because this is what he did some years ago. Some years ago, when he thought he was at the top of the ladder. And in the shower, I asked him if he wanted to go to the next step. And he was so downtrodden when he thought he was at the top. He had to change frequencies. And so do you. And he asked the same question, dripping wet. What do I do? And I said, you have no idea the power of intent. Here it is yet again. Human consciousness with pure intent can accomplish anything. And especially if you're already knowledgeable and have been a light worker and want to go to that next step, to retune to the higher frequency. Dear Spirit, I give intent for it. Allow me to find it. I want the intuition. And then you go to that place where you say, I claim it, it's happening. And you sit down. Author, and it's happened. And there it is, the reconnection. And you go, oh my, it's so bright now. There's too many words. Or the healer who doubts themselves because it hasn't worked for a while, who now realizes that they have to redo the connection, and they go through this process of intent, meaning it, understanding it, feeling it, recognizing the sense of it. And then when the patient comes in, it all comes flooding back in. I guarantee you, healer, if you're seeing patients, that next patient who walks in after you have done this will ask why you're weeping. Because you'll say the connection's back. And I can tell you so much that's going to help you. It has to make sense to you that this is what's going on. There's been no issue. There's been no problem. You've done nothing wrong. And there's so much here. But you got to recalibrate. And this recalibration doesn't require you read things, take courses, climb steps, or pay anything. Sit alone and feel the sense of it. Raise your hand and state it. Let this be the time that my innate will take me to the higher frequency, because I was designed for that. That's why I'm here. And for the rest of my life, I'll be connected in a higher way than anything I've had before. And then thank the Creator that it's actually happened. Frustrated? Yes. I just gave you the solution of why you were frustrated and what to do. Especially for those who have worked as light workers way before 2012. I speak to you. Your lineage is shamanic, or you wouldn't be doing this. Even the meditator. Your lineage is shamanic. And you have been tuning to these frequencies for lifetimes. And now they start to move. and the light starts to increase. Welcome to a new earth, Lightworker. And stop being frustrated. There's more. But for now, that's enough. Go from this place different. And you can, with free choice, create the impossible. And so it is.